Hello, guys. Welcome to yet another session on film studies. We are kindly coming out of lockdown slowly, and as you can see, we have started coming to college. Lecturers have started coming to college, and the exams will happen soon. So let's finish our remaining portions for the film studies. A couple of more, 2 or 3 videos are remaining. I will quickly finish them off and send them as quickly as possible. Today's class will be on Siegfried Kracauer, whose lifetime is between 1889 and 1966. So he's one of the key thinkers in film studies, and he is um, one of the pioneers of reality in film studies and cinema studies. And next video will be on Andre Bazin. I will not be making that video, but I will send you from one of the UGC portals, which has an excellent video on Andre Bazin. So these two people are considered as film realists. We have discussed what film realism is, for film formalism is. So without further ado, let's get into our Siegfried Kracauer and see what he's about. First of all, let me tell you who he is and where he's from. He studied architecture and engineering in Germany, nothing related to films. He was a German person, and he was a film critic for newspapers and magazines from 1920 to 1950s. First in Frankfurt and Berlin, and then in Paris from 1933. Right? So he was forced to emigrate from Germany because he was a Jewish left-wing intellectual, which kind of was not very popular with, it's a combination which was never popular with the Nazis who were occupying the positions of power in Germany at that time. So he immigrated from Nazi Germany because of the persecution. And he wrote two major books. His two major books are From Caligari to Hitler in 1947. You know, Hitler was the Führer of the Nazi Germany. So he based a book on From Caligari. We've seen the cabinet of Dr. Caligari and its importance in cinema studies, and Hitler. So from Caligari to Hitler, we'll see some key concepts from that book in this video. And also his other book was Theory of Film in 1960. Okay, so he comes in the later part, second part of the film theories. After 1950s, he is written during the 50s and 60s, where cinema studies took a different turn from trying to establish cinema as a form of art, like Hugo Munsterberg tried to do or Arnheim tried to do. We come to a set of thinkers who have moved beyond that and who want to explore cinema from different angles and not just from is cinema art, or is it there only to capture reality. So in From Caligari to Hitler, Kracauer pioneered methods of studying film as both an aesthetic and a sociological object, and became a foundational text for the study of national cinemas. It's considered one of the first texts to have taken a different set of questions than is film an art or is it just to capture reality. So it pioneered the method of studying film as both an aesthetic and a sociological object. Okay? So what are the key concepts that were given by Siegfried Kracauer? Film, Kracauer says, renders visible what we did not, or perhaps even could not, see before its advent. Now look at that sentence again. Film renders visible what we did not, or perhaps what we could not see before its advent. What was that? If you look at the things which came before film, the media which came before film, photography, you could see the subject, but not much other than what was being captured. If you look at radio, you couldn't see the person, you couldn't see any visuals. If you look at books, novels, newspapers, you couldn't see the physical object what they are describing. A book can describe a physical object, but can you make them, you can't make the person see the exact thing. Now if you find a word called tree in a book, it's not guaranteed that you will imagine the same tree, all of you, right? But film, says Craquier, renders visible what we did not or perhaps could not see before its advent, because you can see so a lot of things in cinema. It effectively assists us in discovering the material world with its psychological, psychophysical correspondences. It makes the physical world probable. You can see the door behind me, you can see the green board behind me. So this is what makes video different, according to Craquier, from a newspaper or radio or a book or a photograph. We literally redeem this world from its dormant state, its state of virtual non-existent. If you look at a book, it is there. Dormant means somewhere hidden behind. It's there, but it needs to be brought out. You can't do that much in a novel or a book or a newspaper, because you can describe something. As much as possible, you can describe it, but there's no guarantee that the reader will look at what you say from the same angle, right? Like I said, for example, car. All of you thought of a different car. You didn't have the same car in mind that I had in mind. But film literally redeems, that is, brings out from its dormant state, its state of virtual non-existence, by endeavoring to experience it through cinema. Okay? Craquier's theory is based on this syllogism. Syllogism is A, if A is equal to B, B is equal to C, then A is equal to C, right? That is called a basic premise of syllogism. So first is film originated in photography. That's a major premise. Second premise, minor premise, is photography portrays physical reality. So if A is equal to B and B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. So what is this A is equal to C according to Craquier? Therefore, the syllogism, the conclusion is that film should portray physical reality. This was his syllogism on which he based his ideas about filmic reality. He was a realist, okay? Well, Arnheim and Hugo Munsterberg, they were more of, aesthetics, who said film is an art form. This guy said film should portray physical reality, right? So what are the other key concepts of Craquier? For Craquier, Lumiere, the pioneers of documentary, Lumiere and Robert J. Flaherty, they were the redeemers of physical reality. Eisenstein was also, to a certain extent, for him, redeemer of physical reality. We have seen Vittorio De Sica's Bicycle Thieves. The movement itself is known as Italian neorealism. So Lumiere was the redeemer of reality. He did so by capturing reality. Remember Lumiere's pictures, workers coming out of the factory, a train coming into the railway station, somebody having a breakfast, or somebody gardening, watering a garden. So these are not art. I mean, these are not fantasy, they are reality. So that's what Craquier said. Because he was a realist, he said Lumiere, and he was a big fan of Lumiere, and he said Lumiere was the redeemer of reality. With Eisenstein, we have discussed Eisenstein in one of the previous videos. Robert J. Flaherty, who is considered the father of modern documentary cinema, who did Nanook of the North, is considered one of the earliest examples of documentary cinema. and Vittorio De Sica were his Lumiere's typical disciples. The Soviets of the 20s, the documentarians and Italian neorealists redeem physical reality. That's what Craquier said, and he was very impressed by them because they did so. And he was not very impressed with speculators, theater people, avant garde who are out to condemn or enslave. That's what he did. So typically the person who comes to mind here is George Méliès, who went away from reality and tried to do fantasy movies. So keep in mind Trip to the Moon as we progress into the next few slides. He said this about Lumiere. Craquier had this opinion about Lumiere. Lumiere, he said, seemed anxious to avoid any personal interference with a given data. So a train is coming, he just showed the train coming. If the workers are coming out of the factory, the workers were shown coming out of the factory. That's it. He didn't interfere with the physical data. He captured reality as it is, which is a good thing. But personal interference with the given data is actually another definition of artistic function. He says that if you interfere with the data, then it goes into the realm of art, which Craquier said is not the forte of cinema. He had this to say about George Méliès. Remember Trip to the Moon? We had seen Trip to the Moon. If you've not seen Trip to the Moon, go and watch it. It's there on YouTube. It's just a 12-13 minutes movie, fantastic movie done by George Méliès in 1902. He submitted, that is, Méliès submitted stage illusions for unstaged reality and contrived plots for everyday events, which is not at all realistic according to Siegfried Craquier. Craquier finds staged illusion and contrived plots utterly despicable. He didn't like it. He was absolutely not a fan of staged illusion. He was not a fan of contrived plots. Proved wrong now because everybody likes staged illusions, and I'm not talking about contrived plots, but at least plots which can make people interested and watch the movie further than a realistic movie or a documentary. People generally prefer some kind of masala or entertainment, but this was Craquier talking in 1950s and 60s. So let's not judge him from 1920s date. So Craquier conceives of cinema as a never entirely normal mode of perception. He says that it's not a normal mode of perception or sensation or thought, and sometimes enlightenment. To Craquier, what is cinema then? To Craquier, cinema also offers solutions to the problem it is part of. For example, if you look at slapstick comedies, we have seen some slapstick comedies in our classrooms. If you don't know what slapstick comedy, pause the video, go and check out Google what is slapstick comedy. Contain an antidote to industrial rationalization and also imitate a different order of things. So that's what Craquier thought about slapstick comedies. He rejects, finally we come to the point here that he rejects the notion that film is a form of art. He rejects it completely. Whereas if you look at what we saw in the previous classes, previous videos, Rudolf Arnheim, Hugo Munsterberg, they were all very adamant on the point that film is an art. It is not just a capturing mechanism of reality. Film is an art. So that is what Hugo Munsterberg or Rudolf Arnheim, even Sergei Eisenstein for that matter, they did, Bele Balazs, they were all kind of adamant that film is a form of art. But Craquier, if you see, rejects this notion completely. He says film is not a form of art. He says that intrusion of art into film thwarts, that is, curtails, stops, prohibits, creates an obstacle to cinema's intrinsic possibilities. many different possibilities are there from cinema as a realistic point of view, cinema as realism. He says intrusion of art makes them kill all these possibilities. Art in film is reactionary because it symbolizes wholeness and thus pretends to be continued existence of beliefs which cover physical reality in both sense of the word. He says in this paragraph, he says art is definitely not to be film should not be tampered with artistic things because they do not render things in a realistic manner. It pretends to be to the continued existence of beliefs which cover physical reality in both sense of the word. Okay. Craquier writes that the photographer and thus the filmmaker must follow the realistic tendency under all circumstances. He was always for realism. Film should be following realistic tendencies under all circumstances. That's what Craquier said. Always, Craquier returns to physical reality. Wherever he is in his arguments, he comes back to physical reality. He tells us that it is natural for film and therefore artistically promising to prefer the enhancement of an obscure railway station to the painted splendor of enchanted wood. Look at that last sentence carefully. Always it is preferable to the enchantments of an obscure railway station to the painted splendor of enchanted wood. What is he referring to here? He is referring to two important things which we have discussed in class. We also discussed it in this video also. What is the enchantment of an obscure railway station? Which railway station is he talking about? That railway station which was shown in Lumiere brothers. So remember, he's a big fan of Lumiere, and he said Lumiere redeemed cinema because he showed reality. On the other hand, it is the railway station is much better, he says, than the painted splendor of enchanted wood. Here he's referring mainly to Trip to the Moon, definitely, and he also has other films in mind. Formalism, that is giving too much fantasy, giving too much thing on the form, is not preferable. He says an obscure railway station which is real is much more preferable than a very awesomely painted but fake splendor of something like what we saw in Trip to the Moon. Most of the things were fake and most of the things were hand drawn. Only the people there were real. Okay, so criticisms. We can now come to the criticisms of Craquier. What are the criticisms of Cracier's theory? By now you can see that in your mind, if you listen to this topic and lecture carefully, and if you understood, you yourself can see that in your mind certain criticisms might be going on of Craquier. Let's give voice to those criticisms, and this voice comes from Richard Corliss, who was another later film theorist and a thinker who has studied Craquier deeply and who has given certain criticisms towards not the person Craquier but his theories, nothing personal here. So Richard Corliss says that Siegfried Cracquier's theory of film is not only narrow, it is also obscure, contradictory, and misleading. It's kind of harsh for a person to say this, but that's what he felt. That's his way of writing it. I mean, that may be the only way he could sugarcoat it. I mean, he could have written it much worse. So Siegfried Cracquier's theory of film, he says, Corliss says, is not only narrow, it also obscures. It's also obscure, contradictory, and misleading. Why? Because Richard Corliss has a point here. He says Craquier was not able to see how rich and varied film expression can be, and how stifling, if not destructive, it is to ignore even one part of the spectrum. Its spectrum is like this. You know, the most common spectrum is VIBGYOR, the color spectrum. You go from violet and indigo, VIBGYOR, and with red. It's not a binary, it's not black and white, it's a spectrum of colors. So Corliss says that film is also a spectrum. On this side you have realism, and on this side you have fantasy, formalism. So it's not binary, this is a spectrum. And he said, Richard Corliss says, it's not a good idea to ignore even one part of the spectrum. Like, for example, you have on this side documentary as reality, realism. On the other extreme, you may have really fantastic movies like Avengers or Pirates of the Caribbean, which ask you to suspend your disbelief for some time. On the other hand, documentaries do not ask you to suspend your disbelief because you know that everything is real. But can all the films be put in these categories? No, there are somewhere in middle. Indian parallel cinema or parallel cinema in general is somewhere in between. It goes near reality, but it's not complete reality because the plot is fake, the actors are saying fake dialogues because it's not happened real, and there is a camera shooting it. It is not very real, but it's close to real. On the other hand, you have things like Avengers, which you know that totally are fantasy, but you enjoy them. We enjoy Pirates of the Caribbean, or we enjoy Donnie Darko from a dark movie kind of a thing, or horror movies for that matter. So, according to Richard Corliss, Siegfried Kracke did not understand the richness and the variety of film expression. And these film expressions can be put in any of these categories, but not either or. It's a spectrum. Okay, so that's what Richard Corliss says about Kracke, is that by saying film is better only as realistic and not formalistic, Siegfried Kracke misses the point of cinema by a long shot. Cinema has a lot of potential, and Siegfried Kracke misses this potential by being limited to realism. That's what Richard Corliss says. According to Richard Corliss, again, his irredeemable sin is that he limits himself. That's what we were discussing till now. He limits himself and his theory to one part of cinematic spectrum, this side, and thereby manages to debase potentialities of films. There's so many potentialities here of film. Siegfried Kracke, according to Richard Corliss, totally disregarded these possibilities, which he says is not right thing to do. And history has proved Richard Corliss right more than Siegfried Kracke, because cinema has now, in 2020, cinema has now achieved much more than what it could have achieved in 1950s, and we have come up with things which people could not even imagine at that time. Theories have come up. Cinema itself, technology has grown so much that there's unlimited possibilities. And Richard Corliss says that Kracke limited himself by saying that realism is the only thing which needs to be taken care of by cinema, and it should not take too much of fantasy and unrealism. So that's his irredeemable sin, according to Richard Corliss. Okay, so now we come to the conclusion now. It's almost time to finish this video. Conclusion, we're concluding, and by concluding we'll see what is the significance of Siegfried Kracke to cinema studies. He's definitely one of the preeminent film theorists and cultural critics of the 20th century, no doubt about that. The man was a genius thinking about cinema studies, cinema theory. Back in the 1940s, 50s and 60s, he wrote some excellent books which have been considered as classics of cinema studies. Whatever the criticisms came later, we cannot deny the genius of Siegfried Kracke. He's best known for his contribution to film studies and for his loose association with the Frankfurt School of Critical Theory. We don't need to get into Frankfurt School of Critical Theory now. That's a topic which we'll discuss in some other semester, probably fourth semester. But he is best known for his contributions to film studies and for his loose association with Frankfurt School of Critical Theory. He wore many hats during his lifetime. As you saw, he was trained as an engineer. He studied architecture. Then he became a film critic. He became an author. So he was a genius beyond comparison. And his writings have enjoyed a steady and growing global readership that continues to make new discoveries in his voluminous work. That's about Siegfried Kracke, a genius guy. Read more about Siegfried Kracke um, in terms of his work, what he has done, Wikipedia page. So there's a lot of material online. This is just an introduction, like I keep saying in all videos. This is just an introduction. You need to learn more, read more. You have time. You don't have to worry about being late or something. So go ahead, read more about Siegfried Kracke. I will send you Andre Bazan's link along with this video, which is done by a professor and UGC. It's done in UGC, so it's very valid, and it's kind of very academic also. Awesome videos. 2 parts are there in that video. I'll send you that. So Siegfried Kracke, Andre Bazan. After this, there'll be a couple of more videos which I'll send in a day or two as soon as I finish them. So thanks a lot for watching the video. Hopefully you're all safe, and we are on the 4th session or 3rd session of third lockdown. Yesterday the Prime Minister said that 18th is going to be, we get to know what is happening 18th. In the college, we are taking certain steps to ensure that your education never stops. We have done an excellent saceelearning.com. It's a site where you can get around 40 certificate courses. All are free. You can go and sign up for them. There is psychology, humanities. We have our own course called Effective Business Communication for 21st Century Workspace. Of course, the admissions for that are closed, but I'm sure you have, I hope you have signed up in some course or the other. The intimation was sent out much earlier. So hopefully we still have corona problems going on day by day. The lockdown is coming down, but the cases are going up. You stay safe, keep your family safe, go out as less as possible. There are no buses right now, but there is so much of traffic in the city. I'm sure we will all be safe whatever happens. So you stay safe, wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, as I keep saying, and I'll see you as soon as possible. Keep looking for my mails for videos. Okay? Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.